Hey mamas! So this is officially my first live video in our group where I'm going to share value with you. So today God put something on my heart to chat with you about tenderness versus toughness. Which one should you be? I know that I personally struggle with I waver between tough days and being mean mommy and then being fun mommy or soft mommy. Like, which one should I be? And this is all coming from a phenomenal devotional that I am going through. It's by Michelle Myers. It's called Famous in Heaven and at Home. And I cannot tell you how amazing it is. I cannot say enough good things about it. But this morning, God put it on my heart that I needed to hop on and share with you just what Michelle speaks about, and then also what God taught me through Michelle. So the verse that this is based on is in Proverbs 31, the Proverbs 31 woman who is very, very popular. And it is Proverbs 31:21, and it says, "She is not afraid of the snow, of inquiries of the weather, for her household are clothed with scarlet." And just a little backstory, scarlet back in Bible times was it only took to very delicate fabric, like the finest fabric. And so it was, in what this verse is talking about is how delicate and precious scarlet is. And then also the symbolism behind snow or weather, whichever version you're reading. The snow represents toughness or harshness. So there's this contrast here between tough snow, like preparing yourself for the weather, and then also tenderness and being gentle and kind and loving towards our children. So a few questions just to get us thinking about this that I wrote down were, so let me backtrack just a little bit. This morning it snowed here. So we are in New York and it snowed here in New York. So what perfect timing. Like, I was thinking about, okay, so what do I need to do to prepare for this storm or for this weather that we have? And so as moms, we need to be asking those questions as we're raising a family, as we're cultivating a marriage. What snow or what storms do we need to be preparing for? And how can we do that in a way that's also tender? So these were some questions that I wrote down. Are we praying for our children that they would know the Lord? That's a tough one. Are we praying that our children would know the Lord? That's preparing for a storm. Because ladies, let me tell you from personal experience and from friends that I have, that have children, that their children don't know the Lord, it has been a storm. It has been really, really hard. And so that is something that God has given our family the experience of recognizing that we need to make sure that we're praying for our children so that when they get older, they are following the Lord and truly loving Him, because that's what is best for our children. He provides us with the most fulfilling and safest life. The second question, are you careful about what comes into your house in order to protect your husband, your children? That looks different for everybody, but are you careful about what comes into your house, about the movies, about what's on TV, about the magazines that you get in the mail, even the people? We're called to be hospitable, but we have to be wise about who we allow our kids to hang out with. And then the third question, are you scheduling a time in your way are you scheduling your time in a way that allows your children and your husband to know that they are number one? If they need you, that you are available. Hey, Lindsay. Guys, if you're joining me live, feel free to just say hey. I love live video and I love engagement. So feel free to just say hey and ask any questions or share any comments that you have. So as I said before, the snow equals being tough, like preparing yourselves. And then the scarlet in this verse is talking about being tender. So on the topic of being tough, what does being tough look like as a mom? So some things for sure are to not be afraid. We need to make sure that our kids don't see us being afraid of everything. And we have every right to be afraid because of the things that we see on the news, because of the things that they come to children. Don't see us being afraid, okay? Are we disciplining our children? This is really hard for me as a mom. I do not enjoy discipline. And I'm sure that none of you enjoy discipline, but are you disciplining your kids so that they will respect authority and you, and obey authority and you in the future? Because ladies, if we're not doing that for our children, then we're doing them a disservice. So those are two ways that we can be tough. And we're called to be tough. We're called to be tough and tender. And here are some ways that we can be tender towards our family. Are you tender towards the needs of your family? Are you sensitive? Are you so in tune with your husband and your children that you know what they need? You know, maybe they need their laundry done at a certain time for that soccer practice that they have, or that soccer game that they have, or you know, it looks different for everybody, but are you in tune with the needs of your family? Are they truly the number one priority? And I know it's easy for us to say, oh, I fed them dinner, I clothed them. You know, of course they're my top priority, but in your heart, are you genuinely number one, most concerned after your relationship with the Lord? Are you most concerned? My husband just called me and the video probably skipped out. But are you most concerned about the needs of your family? Are they truly number one on your heart? Is that what you're constantly thinking about? Like I said, next to your relationship with the Lord, are you constantly thinking in a healthy way, how can I better serve my family and be in touch with their needs so I can be tender to them? Does your planning, your scheduling allow you to serve them best? So a lot of you know that I am an online business coach as well. So I run a business and that requires me to make sure that I schedule my time in a way that doesn't give my husband or my children the leftovers, because that's not me being sensitive. Okay, so here are 3 ways that we can implement both, because in case you didn't catch it, ladies, we need to be both tough and tender, just as this verse calls us. So I know that the title of this live video said, which one do we need to be? But that was a trick. We need to be both. And here are 3 ways that we can be both. And these come from Ted Tripp, which I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with Shepherding a Child's Heart, but it is phenomenal. And we are going to actually start working through it, Ben and I, as parents. And so here are 3 ways that we can make sure that we're doing both for our kids, okay? So we need to make sure that we make a distinction between correction and discipline, okay? So we are being tender when we're correcting, but sometimes our children out and out defy us, and they're defiant and they disobey, and so we need to make sure that we are disciplining them. So that would be a good balance between think of correction as being tender. You're correcting your kid, you're showing them the way. And then if they outright disobey, that's when discipline comes in, and we need to be tough, okay? We need to hold each other accountable to do that too. The second thing, remember that the goal of discipline is restoration. So it is so hard and it makes us feel like mean mommy to discipline, but the goal is helping us to be restored, helping our children be restored, restoring that relationship between each other. So if your child disobeyed you, that's hurtful, that makes you angry, you want to restore that relationship, this horizontal relationship, but you also want to restore this vertical relationship. You want them to be restored with the Lord, and you want them to understand that that was not just disobeying you, but also the Lord, okay? So remember that the goal of discipline is restoration. And then the third way that we can balance this toughness and tenderness is remembering that withholding discipline doesn't show love. So by disciplining your children, we are actually being tender to them, okay? We are going to talk about all things discipline and all things child behavior in January when our members portal opens up, ladies. And Jillian Newkirk, who is in here, she is a licensed clinical counselor focusing on child behavior and children, and she is an expert, literally an expert. I'm not exaggerating, a child behavior expert. And we will have her at our fingertips in our members portal. And so she's going to talk all things discipline. And so I am just coming to you today and sharing this encouragement and what God has put on my heart. But in January, we're going to be able to dive in even deeper in our members portal. And just so you know, we officially opened the members portal registration. So you can officially become a member we opened it this weekend, and so I will post the link below so that you can register and you can become a member and you can get these specific trainings. So in January, we're going to be talking about discipline, like what we've just been talking about, but even deeper and with an expert. I am not an expert. I am not an expert, you guys. And then we're also going to be talking about finances with Stephanie Klinger, who's a finance expert, and she's soon to be a licensed financial advisor. And so we're going to be talking finances with her. And then for the rest of the year, we have amazing trainings available to you. So we're just going to focus right now on discipline. And in January, we have a training coming to you with Jillian Newkirk. I'll post the link below so that you can register and you can get in on those trainings and get her downloadable resources. You guys, she's also offering us a free sleep course for your child. So get your child to sleep, and she's offering that to us for free. So that's in the members portal. And you can register early. It is not up and running yet, but you can register early and get a huge discount, like 30% off. So I will post that below. But ladies, remember that we are in this together. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I would love to hear if anybody else struggles with the same things that I do. And I hope this was encouraging, ladies. I am praying for you, and I am praying for your families, and I'll talk to you soon.